One thing about me is I forget everything the second the book is over. As soon as I close that book, I forgot everything. I forgot the plot, I forgot the characters. All I remember is the vibes and how the book made me feel. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Natasha. This is actually my first video that I'm recording and posting on my booktube. So thank you so much for being here. Bear with me while I figure things out, my lighting, my microphone setup. Today I'm going to talk about my top priority reads of 2025 as well as what my reading goals are for the new year. I figured that'd be a great place to start on my channel. It's a little bit into the month, so I'm not going to do a January TBR, but I will do a wrap up. So make sure you subscribe so you can see what I read in the month of January. But moving forward, I will do TBR videos as well as wrap ups, hauls, reviews, etc., etc. All right, let's jump right into it. I'm going to talk about what my goals are. I do have notes here, so if you're wondering what I'm looking at, I wrote everything down so it can be nice and organized. Because one thing about me, I have ADHD and I'll be talking about everything all over the place. So I have my handy dandy notes. We're going to talk about my reading goals, and then I will show you all of my 2025 priority books that I want to read in the new year. Okay, starting off strong, I am putting myself on a book buying ban. Yeah, towards the end of 2024, I want to say like October, I went crazy and bought a ton of books. I got my physical TBR down to like 10 or 15 books, which was a big deal. I was on a book buying ban for a lot of 2024 because I went crazy early in the year. So then I worked down my TBR and now I'm back up again. One thing about me is I like to treat myself. So if anything is like hectic in my life, if I'm stressed, I will go and buy a book. Every time I go to Target, I get at least one new book. Anytime there's a sale, I'm getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. Okay. I can't be stopped at this point. Somebody needs to take my debit card. Amazon books, hate to see me coming. Anyway, see what I mean about me? I'll be going off on tangents. So my book buying ban does have some exceptions. Okay, yes. This doesn't include my pre-orders. I will have a separate video talking about my 25 top anticipated new releases for 2025. We won't be talking about that in this video because this would be way too long and you're just meeting me, so I don't want to overwhelm you with my mouth, okay? So that doesn't include my pre-orders. It doesn't include my book subscriptions. I'm subscribed to Book of the Month as well as Probably Smut. Book of the Month just comes with one book, but sometimes I do add more books to my box, and I'm not going to do that. Like, that would be breaking my ban, so I'm not going to do that. It's just my one book that I get with my subscription, and then the one book that I get with my Probably Smut subscription, which I will be sharing with you. When they come in, I will include that in my hauls. So even though I'll be on a book buying ban, I still will be doing hauls because I will be getting pre-orders in pretty much all year. What else? Oh, books in the series that I own. So if I own one or two or three, however many books in a series on my shelf, but I don't have the other books in the series, I'm allowed to purchase those. So doesn't include those. And then last but not least, my TBR jar, I did put in 5 prompts that say treat yourself. So yeah, I mean, I have to reward myself here and there, okay? I need some kind of incentive to keep going. That is my book buying ban. Moving on, let's see. Reading series without taking long breaks. One thing about me is I forget everything the second the book is over. As soon as I close that book, I forgot everything. I forgot the plot, I forgot the characters. All I remember is the vibes and how the book made me feel. For that reason, I can't take long breaks while I'm reading series. So if a series has like 3 or 4 books, I'm going to try to like bang those out pretty close together. I might throw in like a palette cleanser here and there, but I don't want to have multiple series going at the same time. I get so mixed up. Like I was reading The Ashes and The Star Cursed King, I think it's called. And I was having a hard time in the beginning of that book because I completely forgot what book one was even about. And I read other fantasies in between. So I was all messed up. I had to go look for summaries of the first book. I'm going to try not to do that this year. What else? I want to use my Kindle more. I have the Kindle subscription and I barely use it. Like I'll probably read a Kindle book once every 3 or 4 months because I love to have physical copies, but I want to read my Kindle more. And if I find like I'm not using my Kindle, I'm going to have to cancel my Kindle Unlimited because what is the point of having that? I have so many. I have Kindle Unlimited, Audible, Book of the Month, probably Smart. I spend a lot of money on just subscriptions every month. Also my Spotify, read more self-development books. I don't think I read any in 2024. Before I started reading fiction books, I've been reading fiction books. I think it's going to go on 2 full years now. I think this is like my second full year reading again. I used to read a lot as a kid. Then as an adult, I didn't. I would read self-development books mainly. But then, like I said, once I started fiction, I kind of like I fell off of that. So I want to read at least 3 in 2025. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I love me some fiction. So I want to set attainable goals for myself in the new year. So I'm just going to give myself 3 books to read. So that sums up my 2025 reading goals. So we can go ahead and talk about my top priority reads of 2025. I chose books on my physical TBR because, like I said, I need to work on that, my physical TBR. So I picked 25 books. There are 3 books on this list that I don't have physical copies of, and that is only because they're only out on hardcover right now, and I want these books in paperbacks because they're part of a series that I already have owned and started, and I have those in paperback, and I just need everything to kind of match on my shelves. So I might have to read those on my Kindle, like when I get to those books. If they're not out in paperback, I'll read it on my Kindle, and then once they are released, I'll buy it and stick it on my shelf for the trophy. I love having my shelf trophies. I'm home right now. I'm sitting on my bed, and then this is my bookshelf wall. It's from end to end. I also have bookshelves at work. I am a lash tech, and I have my own suite. And in my suite, I have a wall of bookshelves. I'll record in there sometime and I'll show you. Like, I'll show you these shelves, I'll show you those shelves. I'm getting off track again. Okay. So, where was I? All right, let's start talking about these books. I'm not going to go into synopsis and all that extra stuff. I'm just going to kind of show you what's on my priority list. Real quick, before I show you the books, I want to talk about my TBR jar. I am a mood reader, so I can't do my TBR jar the way that I see it typically done, where you write prompts and that say, like, find a book with a cartoon cover or enemies to lover. I have to really be in the mood to read the book in order to read it, and I want to set attainable goals for myself. So in my TBR jar, which is freaking adorable, by the way, I love bows. I love bows. If it has a bow on it, I'm going to get it. I have a bow tattoo on my arm. I love bows. So I saw this at Marshall's and my daughter actually bought it for me. So thank you, DC. Shout out to you. In this jar are the 25 books, priority books that I want to read this year, as well as 10 prompts for book of the month. And I think I have 9 prompts for probably smut, and then the 5 treat yourself incentives that I have in here. My book of the month, they're starting to pile up. Like, I don't always read them right away. I have a bunch of books that I haven't read, so I want to get to those. My probably smut subscription, I have a few of those books that I haven't read. And then everything on my list are books that I kind of need like a nudge. I need a little push, and I need an incentive to read them for one reason or another. Without further ado, wow, I feel like I've been talking a lot. I'm going to go ahead and show you the books, okay? Starting off strong are these books here. Let me grab them. I have to hold the mic. I did try to clip it onto me, but when I clip it onto my shirt, I sound far away. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to try to do this with one hand. Starting off strong with Kristen Hanna. I did read one book, Magic Hour. Loved it. And I've heard so many good things about the books that I have right here. Kristen Hanna has always intimidated me because I don't read historical fiction. I just don't. I shy away from emotional reads, from anything too heavy. life is heavy enough. So I tried to like read romantasy or romance to kind of escape the drama of life. But I want to challenge myself more. So I did pick up these four books in addition to Magic Hour by Chris and Hannah, and I want to read them in 2025. Spoiler alert, I did leave one of the prompts out for one of these books. I already read it. Today is January 6th, so I did just finish one of these books. I'm not going to tell you which one. You're going to have to watch my reading wrap up to see which one, but this is a good time to show you the prompts. So, most of the prompts have the title of the books that are here. Some of them don't. Like some of them will say Kristen Hannah because there are several options for her. I have four books here. So, if it says Kristen Hannah, I get to choose which Kristen Hannah book it is. I also have books that are continuing in a series, so I'll write the name of the series on it. Like I'll show you this. This is on my priority reads, the Ravenhood trilogy. I know there's a spinoff that just recently came out, but I want to read this and I need to be nudged because I see so many people getting emotional over these books. So, like I said, I shy away from that. So, in the TBR jar, it'll say the Ravenhood series. So I just have to pick which one I'm up to. So I have a Ravenhood series. For Kristen Hannah, I have The Four Winds, The Great Alone, The Nightingale, and Winter Garden. When I'm picking out my TBR books, I may pick from this list without a prompt. So if I pick a book that I already read, obviously I'll just pick again. Okay, moving on. The God of the Woods. I don't even know what this is, but I feel like it's kind of like, I want to say it's going to be something emotional. No, I'm not sure. I mostly go into books blind. If I saw a TikTok or a YouTube video and someone's raving about a book, I don't even need to know what it's about. If it's making you have a reaction, I want to read it. So this might be some kind of mystery. Is this a mystery? Couldn't tell you, but I want to read it. I saw so many good reviews on this. So there's that. Moving on, let's talk about romance. Falling for Gage. I read Archer's Voice. I don't know if you can see it, but it's up there. And I loved it. That was one of my favorite books. I don't know when I read it. I want to say I read it in 2023. I don't know. I have to go back and figure it out, but I loved it so much and I think this might be in the same like universe, same small town. I really don't know, but I'm looking forward to this one. It's a Date Again by Geneva Rose. I believe I've read thrillers by this author, but never romance. And this has been sitting on my TBR for a hot minute, and I've been avoiding it at all costs. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it. I don't know why, but I want to go ahead. That's why I put it in the jar, so it'll force me to read it. Hexed by Emily McIntyre. I haven't read any of her Never After books. I have Hooked. I have like the hardcover special edition of Hooked. Haven't read it. Not on my list, but Hexed. I think this is about Little Mermaid, like a Little Mermaid retelling. That's one of my favorite Disney movies besides Beauty and the Beast. So when I heard this was like Little Mermaid vibes, had to have it. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't know if this is a dark romance. I'm not a dark romance girly. I haven't read anything really. Actually, I have read like Butcher and Blackbird. I think there's a couple of dark romances I might have read, but I shy away from it. I shy away. I have it on my physical TBR. That's why it's in my priority reads. The Long Game. I have been avoiding this book like the plague. I don't know why. Why did I buy it? Why I don't know why I bought it. Maybe I heard a review or something, or maybe I was in Target. I don't know, but I just have a feeling it's not going to be that great. I feel like it's going to be a 3-star for me, and if it's going to be a 3-star, like I'm not in a rush to pick it up. So there's that. Bridesmaid Undercover. This is book 2. After was it Bridesmaid for Hire, Megan Quinn. I I like this author. I read A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I actually went on a book signing in the city. I live in New York, on Long Island. So I went to the city and saw her last month in December. She's cute. She's funny, but I didn't love the first book. Bridesmaid for Hire. So I was kind of dragging my feet to read this one, but I definitely want to get to it in 2025. I just have a feeling you know what this is. This is the Boys of Tillman series. I read Binding and Keeping 13, loved it, but is heavy. It's trauma heavy. It's sad, but I loved Johnny and Shannon so much, and I'm excited to read the rest of the series. But again, I need a little push because I shy away, like I've already said probably too many times, shy away from emotional reads. Saving 6, Redeeming 6, and Taming 7, I still have to read. So in the jar, it'll say Boys of Tillman. We're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done. Hang in there. Okay, moving on. Harry Potter. I obviously have been living under a rock because I read 4 Harry Potter books so far in 2024. I hadn't read any of the books, hadn't watched any of the movies. So I decided, okay, I'm a reader now. I was in my fantasy era. After each of the Harry Potter books, I watched the corresponding movie. So I'm going to continue doing that this year. But these books are, look at these. They're thick. They're thick. They're thick. So somebody has to push me to read these so I can watch the movies. And I did buy like the special editions of the first 3 books. So I am happy and excited to experience Harry Potter for the first time. But like I said, I need a little bit of a nudge because they're so freaking thick. Look at this. I believe this is a standalone. I don't know why it's taken me so long. Like, it's been sitting on my TBR for a while. It's been a hot minute since I bought this. So that is on my priority list. A Ballad of Never After. I read Once Upon a Broken Heart. I think that's book 1. This is book 2, and book 3 is actually one of the books that I don't have because it's only available on hardcover. A Curse for True Love. So A Ballad of Never After and A Curse for True Love are both on my priority reads so that I can finish off this series. I read the Caraval series and Spectacular, the new like holiday book that was released. I read all of those, so I want to finish this series. We have 3 more books, only one of which I own. Gothic Kana by Runix. I don't know why I'm intimidated by this. I think it's dark academia. I have heard really good reviews. I just have a feeling I'm not going to like it. I don't know why. Honestly, I have no reason for it. Sometimes I just be judging a book by the vibes that I get holding it. And for some reason, I'm like, I don't know why. I feel like this is just not something I'm going to love. But you know what? I'm going to read it in 2025. If I don't read it, I'm going to unhaul it. But I'm going to try my best to get to this book. And then last 2 on my top priority reads of 2025 that I don't own are The Songbird and the Heart of Stone and The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, which is Crowns of Nyaxia. I read the first 2 and the novella because there's like a novella in between 1 and 2. I read all those. So I just want to finish that series off as well. That is everything for my priority reads of 2025, my reading goals, my TBR jar. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to in this video. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much. Next on my channel, before you go, I will be talking about my most anticipated new releases of 2025 that I already pre-ordered. Like, I literally pre-ordered these already. And I also will have a video talking about all the series that I want to read in 2025. I didn't want to include it in this list because I haven't started these series. And in 2025, I want to focus on finishing the series that I already started and getting to the books that are kind of like I've been avoiding. So I will do a whole separate video on the series I want to read in 2025 and the new releases. That is everything for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so excited to start my journey on BookTube. So subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you guys very soon.